Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The battle for the last upper house seat in the Legislative Council elections is on, with the Liberal and Independent candidate locked in a close primary vote count. Incumbents Meg Webb and Luke Edmonds have comfortably secured their places as the government grapples with the prospect of being one seat down.
It's all smiles for the incumbents. Meg Webb and Luke Edmonds safely securing their upper house seats.
It's certainly incredibly pleasing to see such a consistent result from the people of Nelson.
It's still kind of sinking in, to be honest. We had a great gathering of friends and family and supporters and members of the Labor Party last night.
The Independent cleaning up more than 50% of the primary votes over rival Marcus Vermey from the Liberals, winning every booth in the electorate.
Underpinning it all was people's scepticism that this government has the community's best interests at heart, and they wanted to see a representative who would challenge that.
Labor's Shadow Finance Minister recording nearly 44% of votes in Pembroke so far, well ahead of Greens candidate Carly Allen, who's currently second.
You don't get a job like this to hide from your community or to sit behind a desk. You get it to get out there and talk to people and find out what matters to them and take that into the parliament.
But the seat of Montgomery still hangs in the balance. Independent Casey Hiskett is currently just ahead of Liberal Stephen Parry by around 2.5%.
I think that's a great position to be in, and I'm really hopeful that the preferences flow my way.
A prominent Tasmanian election analyst believes they will and should get Hiskett over the line.
I expect that, particularly on preferences from the Greens, that lead will increase.
Despite the proposed Macquarie Point Stadium surfacing as a hotly discussed issue ahead of the elections, Bonham believes it might not have played out as much at the ballot box.
It's not a massive factor when you've seen two candidates with completely different views on the stadium, both resoundingly re-elected.
The results leaving the government to reconcile a wipeout in Nelson and the likelihood of losing one of its upper house spots.
We're very confident about the future for Tasmanians. If people can focus on what's in the best interests of the state of Tasmania, collaboration and goodwill, which I've always said is so important.
Now even more so if the Liberals hope to get their agenda through Parliament. Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
The government's spruiking what it's describing as record investment into health, unveiling a $14.5 billion funding package over the next 4 years. It's part of the upcoming state budget, which will be put towards meeting current demand, infrastructure and boosting staff numbers.
This is a great outcome for Tasmania and Tasmanians who want to receive the right health care in the right place and the right time.
The opposition's concerned about how the balance sheets will look come Thursday.
Tasmanians expect to see a government that can balance the books, deliver services, and they're not seeing that at the moment.
The Treasurer insists the government has a pathway to surplus, with more details to come on Budget Day. Thick smoke was seen billowing from an unoccupied Clarendon Vale property after a fire broke out in a bedroom at around 4 o'clock this morning. Crews from Clarence and Rokeby managed to contain the fire quickly. There have been no reported injuries, and Tasmania Fire Service is still determining the cause of the blaze. Hundreds of dog lovers have spent the morning pounding pavements around the state for the last ever Million Paws Walk. The popular RSPCA events helped raise millions of dollars for animal welfare, but organisers say it's time for a change.
A cavalcade of canines ready and raring to go. The final Million Paws Walk kicking off under blue skies, some barely able to contain their excitement.
I told him he was going to a puppy party and he's quite pleased.
The much-loved fundraiser attracting hundreds of hounds from gentle giants like Rupert the St Bernard. Rupert, what brings you here today?
Socialisation. Make some new friends.
To senior citizen Coco, who'd much rather not get her feet wet.
She will bark at all the other dogs and be a bit protective of me.
Plus, one precious pooch proving age is no barrier.
It's just as much stimulating for their minds as their paws as well.
With fun and games on offer, as well as the iconic walk.
musical mutt-mat, fetch the examiner, all of those things.
The event also helping our puppy pals to make new friends. Little Toby taking the chance to chat with passers-by.
It's good for all dogs, really, to mix with other dogs.
Over its 31-year history, more than 750,000 people and 400,000 poochers have attended walks across the country.
Just very sad it's the last one, so we're trying to do our bit to help the animals of Tasmania.
The cost of events has increased along with the cost of everything else, so we've got to take a step back.
But never fear, there's still plenty of events animal lovers can get along to.
We will be extending into things like Christmas in July, which if you haven't been, is a lot of fun.
Always looking for new ways to make a splash. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
The tatami mats have been rolled out in Hobart for a battle among some of the best karate athletes. Martial artists from Tasmania and Victoria competing in today's State Championships title, with a place at the Nationals on the line.
It's far from a quiet sport. This is where the hopes and dreams of karate's best are put to the test, kicking their way through the 2025 State Championships in Hobart.
We've got athletes as young as 8 and 9 right through to our Masters division, which is our 55 plus age category.
Young athletes dominating the tatami mats. As judges watch the fits and footwork.
The judges look at things like stances, timing, movement, techniques, balance, speed, power, transitional movements.
Lots of sequencing moves and fighting moves.
Competitors from Tasmania and Victoria showcasing their kata and kumite skills, all for a prize position on the podium.
Quite good to see what everyone else is like, so you can see how other people learn and how other people do their karate.
I think my movements and my fighting skills have improved in this tournament.
For those with more experience under their belt, it's more than just a fighting chance for some silverware, but a place at Nationals on the line.
And this event itself is part of the selection process for our team that will go on and represent Tasmania at the 2025 National Championships in Adelaide.
With these promising young stars not showing any signs of slowing down.
I want to go to Nationals this year.
Nationals is something I've got my eye on this year.
With plenty of gold and glory up for grabs. Rebecca Gaidenero, 7 Tasmania News.
Our leaders of tomorrow have been recognised at the Young Achiever of the Year Awards. Hundreds gathered at the Crown Plaza last night, honouring the work of some of Tasmania's best and brightest. Romany Wake, a passionate advocate for victims of domestic violence, took home the top honour, crowned Tasmania's Young Achiever of the Year. Elected from the 11 category winners, she takes home the $2,000 prize. And news just in, Jordan Crawford will not be returning to the Jack Jumpers. In a statement posted on social media, the team says they're not going to offer a contract to the championship-winning player beyond this year and has thanked the player for his service for the past 2 seasons. The Launceston Tornadoes have come back down to earth with an 11-point loss to the Ringwood Hawks at Elfin Sports Stadium. A bright spot for the Tawns, Bailey Flavel leading scoring for the team with 28.
New Zealand representative goes into the paint against 3 Ringwood Hawks and makes 2.
It was the same story for the Northwest Thunder, the Hawks beating them by 20 points. Hobart Hurricane Caleb Jewell has made history in English county cricket. Now Derbyshire's highest scorer against Kent in 151 years, with another century for his team.
Driven up towards mid-off, and there it is. A very low-key way to get to 200, but it's been a magnificent innings from Caleb Jewell.
Jewell finished the day with a career-best 232 runs from 361 deliveries. Stay with us. Kaya will join us after the break with the week's weather forecast.
Good evening. 16 all round in Hobart, Launceston, Devonport and Burnie today. St Helens and Friendly Beaches saw our top of 17. The islands recorded 16, as did Smithton, Grove and Ouse, 15 at Low Head and Strawn and 8 in Lyowini. The close-up shows scattered cloud about western and central parts of the state with mostly clear conditions elsewhere. A weak frontal band crossed Tasmania this morning, which moved away to the east. Tomorrow morning, the second cold front will cross the state, SA and Victoria, while a broad area of low pressure builds to our west. North-northwesterly winds 20 to 30 knots in the east and west, with westerly swells increasing to 4 metres. A gale warning has been issued for the far northwest tomorrow. A strong wind warning remains in place for the majority of coastal waters across the state. A partly cloudy Monday in Hobart tomorrow with 17 expected, 17 also in Dover with a shower or two. A frosty start in Ouse with 17 too. Showery towards the north, Launceston 18, 16 in Devonport and 16 the top in Scottsdale. Showers for Burnie 17, much the same in Strawn 16. A wet and windy day in Stanley, 17's the maximum. A couple of showers in St Helens and Swansea 19, Ross 16 after an overnight low of just 2 degrees. Forecast now for Tuesday, showers statewide contracting to western, central and southern districts throughout the morning. Showers remain for those areas again on Wednesday, but fine elsewhere. And on Thursday, showers likely about the west and far south, but settled conditions otherwise. To mainland conditions now for tomorrow, a wet and windy day on the cards for Adelaide, 17, 28 and partly cloudy in Brisbane, similar conditions in Perth with 18 degrees. Hobart and Launceston both 9 degrees currently, showery across Devonport with 12. And it looks like the wardrobe got the memo tonight, Lou.
It certainly did. They got one thing right. Thank you for that, Gaia. And that's all your news for this Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us. Kim will be with you tomorrow. Enjoy your evening. Good night.